In hip-hop, stories of struggle, loyalty, and survival often blur the line between music and real life.
It was incompletely presented. As soon as we got in and we did our due diligence, right, as good as anybody in the world right now, and I guarantee you that Vlad cannot tell me another musical genre.
Rappers turn pain into poetry, trauma into art, and street experiences into global success. But sometimes, the shadows behind the lyrics refuse to stay fictional. In late 2024, one of the most influential voices in modern rap found himself facing the full force of the United States federal justice system. Lil Durk, a platinum-selling artist and cultural icon, was arrested and charged in a federal murder-for-hire case that stunned fans around the world. Concert stages were replaced by courtrooms, and chart rankings were overshadowed by indictment papers. As the case unfolded, it became clear this was not just another celebrity headline, it was one of the most serious criminal cases ever involving a major hip-hop star. Who is Lil Durk? The rise before the fall. Lil Durk, born Dirk Devontae Banks, rose from Chicago's South Side to become one of the defining artists of his generation. He built his career through raw storytelling, emotional vulnerability, and authenticity that resonated deeply with fans. Over the years, he transitioned from underground mixtapes to chart-topping albums, collaborations with industry giants, and leadership within the Only the Family collective. Durk was not just a rapper, he was seen as a voice for pain, loss, and resilience. By the early 2020s, he had achieved mainstream success while maintaining credibility in the streets. That dual identity, however, would later become central to the controversy surrounding his case. The 2022 shooting that started it all. The federal case traces back to a deadly shooting that occurred in Los Angeles in August 2022. During the incident, Saviaya Lil Pab Robinson was shot and killed. Robinson was the cousin of rapper Quando Rondo. According to federal prosecutors, the intended target of the attack was Quando Rondo, not Robinson. Authorities allege that the shooting was the result of a planned retaliation connected to ongoing tensions within the rap world. The incident initially appeared as another tragic act of violence, but behind the scenes, federal investigators were already building a larger case. Federal allegations against Lil Durk. Prosecutors allege that Lil Durk played a role in orchestrating a murder-for-hire plot by directing associates to carry out the attack. The charges include conspiracy, murder-for-hire, and firearm-related offenses. It is important to note that these are allegations, not convictions. Lil Durk has pleaded not guilty to all charges and continues to deny any involvement in the crime. The government argues that financial transactions, communication patterns, and witness testimony link Durk to the planning of the shooting. His defense team strongly disputes these claims, arguing that the evidence is circumstantial and unreliable. Arrest and immediate fallout. In October 2024, federal agents arrested Lil Durk, sending shockwaves through the music industry. News of his arrest spread rapidly, with fans struggling to reconcile the artist they admired with the severity of the accusations. Almost immediately, Durk was placed in federal detention. Unlike many high-profile defendants, he was not granted bail. Prosecutors argued that Durk posed a flight risk and cited alleged violations of detention rules, including unauthorized communications. The court agreed, and Durk has remained in custody since his arrest. The death penalty decision. One of the most alarming developments in the case was the early discussion of the death penalty. Due to the nature of the charges, prosecutors initially considered seeking capital punishment. This alone elevated the case into rare territory within hip-hop history. Eventually, federal prosecutors confirmed they would not pursue the death penalty. While this removed the possibility of execution, it did not significantly reduce the stakes. Lil Durk still faces the possibility of life imprisonment if convicted. For an artist in his early 30s, the difference between freedom and life behind bars could define the rest of his existence. Legal strategy and trial delays. The case's complexity has led to repeated delays. The trial is now scheduled for October 2025. Prosecutors argue that the volume of evidence is massive, including digital records, financial data, surveillance, and witness statements. The defense has objected to delays, stating that prolonged detention without trial violates basic fairness. Durk's lawyers have also filed motions challenging the indictment, claiming it lacks specific details about how the alleged plot was formed and executed. They have criticized the government's reliance on informants, arguing that some witnesses have criminal histories and incentives to cooperate. Juror safety and courtroom tension. Because of the high-profile nature of the case, prosecutors have raised concerns about juror safety. They have requested special protections, including anonymous juries. Their argument is based on the intense public attention surrounding the case and the potential for intimidation. The defense has pushed back strongly, arguing that anonymous juries could unfairly suggest that Durk is dangerous, influencing jurors before evidence is even presented. This legal tug-of-war highlights how unusual and sensitive the case has become. The human cost beyond headlines. Beyond the legal drama lies a deeper human cost. A man has lost his life. Families on multiple sides are living with grief and uncertainty. Lil Durk, once constantly in the spotlight, now faces isolation and uncertainty inside a federal facility. Regardless of the outcome, the emotional toll is undeniable. Careers can be rebuilt, but trust, reputation, and peace of mind are far harder to recover. To secure a conviction, federal prosecutors must prove that Lil Durk knowingly and intentionally participated in a murder-for-hire conspiracy. This requires more than association or reputation. They must demonstrate clear intent, coordination, and direct involvement. The defense argues that the government is attempting to connect dots that do not form a clear picture. The trial will ultimately hinge on credibility of witnesses, of evidence, and of interpretation. What's at stake for hip-hop culture? This case extends beyond one individual. It raises difficult questions about how the justice system views rap culture, street identity, and artistic expression. Lyrics, affiliations, and past environments are often scrutinized in ways other genres never face. The outcome could influence how future cases involving artists are handled and how much creative expression is allowed to be interpreted as intent. As the trial date approaches, the silence around Lil Durk grows heavier. Will the prosecution prove its case beyond reasonable doubt, or will the defense expose fatal weaknesses in the government's narrative? Is this the tragic downfall of a rap icon, or a story of a man fighting to clear his name? When the courtroom doors finally close and the verdict is read, the decision will not only define Lil Durk's future, it will leave a permanent mark on hip-hop history. Until then, the world waits, caught between music, law, and a truth that remains just out of reach.